which means different things to different people. And the word is something that's been used in so many parts of the globe for so many times in history, for eons and eons. The move to reclaim the word and step forward into one's power as a witch and claim the lineage of being a witch can activate what we call the witch wound. The fear, the concern, the worry about being identified as other, about being out on the fringe, about being exposed. And it makes a lot of sense when we look at the biological evidence for inheritance of generational trauma, ancestral trauma. It's really clear how this can happen. When women are pregnant with a female fetus, the ovaries in that fetus already have millions of eggs. And when that fetus grows to adulthood, should she have a female offspring, that offspring was present as an egg in her ovary when she was in her mother's womb. So the grandmother and the granddaughter have a direct biological line, right? They are present in each other's biology. And pregnancy, we see the hormones that come through the placenta, cortisol, uh, endorphins, epinephrine, adrenaline. And it's so clear that the fetus is in that hormonal bath during pregnancy, getting all those chemical signatures, all those indications of stressors. And it's not just those three generations, right? Like they've been linked three generations at a time, going back in time forever. So the line of communication for women in their matrilineal background is directly evidenced by biology. When we bring in storytelling and context, then it's really easy for this ancestral trauma, this generational trauma to be triggered. When we look at the witch trials, especially in Europe, beginning in the 1400s, the targeted extermination of primarily women, primarily healers that were independent, women that were providing value to their community when community was based in communal success. We see the rise of capitalism, of kingdoms and serfdom, and men's labor being taken out of the home and out of the community into service for the kingdom, and men's labor being rewarded with money that then is brought home, women's labor being hidden and dismissed, less than just not rewarded, but completely written off and dismissed. And we're talking about childbearing, cooking, cleaning, householding, caring for the elders, and healing. Yeah, it's not until much later when we see the rise of medicine take healing out of women's hands and turn it into totally corrupt, broken for profit systems that we see nowadays. But back in the day, way back when, healing was one of the principal crafts, arts that was held by women in society. So when the witch trials were starting, we see the publication of the Malleus Maleficarum in the 1480s, which was a handbook on how to identify, prosecute, torture, extract confessions, and execute women, unfortunately, that were labeled as witches. We see this targeted campaign to abolish this part of society that isn't creating income in the way that men's labor does. It's a campaign of fear. It's a campaign of torture. It's a campaign of extermination. It's femicide, right? And we're seeing it for centuries throughout Europe, primarily focused in Germany, France, Scotland, and England. but extending to all over the world, and we still see witch trials in parts of Africa. We see prejudice and discrimination, which I've experienced myself in modern day. So those stories don't just go away, they get handed down, and it's clear how someone that feels called to the lineage and feels a deep connection with the archetype of witch to also feel a real intense sense of exposure and vulnerability. When we're speaking to the courage and strength it takes to cast ourselves into ownership of the lineage and claim the power for ourselves, it also comes with this deep sense of responsibility, and for me, this willingness to speak, take the platform, and own the words so that others can feel emboldened, uh, can feel represented, can feel held, that we can find one another. My work in this life is to cast a net and call the witches home. That landed in my bones just this past year on retreat. And yeah, there's so much work here. My own path to finding my power as a witch has been my all of my adult life since I wrote a paper when I was 17. Actually, it was when I was like 14 or 15 as a freshman in high school at my Catholic high school. That's what woke it up for me, connecting myself to my Irish, Scottish roots and feeling this deep call, that this lineage, this path of healing, which I was already called to, the path of healing came first, and then the witch archetype, woof, came knocking on my door, and it was like, honey, yeah, this is your home. And now it's a beautiful place to be. I find so much meaning and purpose here. And the retreats that I lead now are about helping others find their power. My offerings in somatic witchcraft about helping orient ourselves to the body and the experiences that we have in the physical plane, how to open the body, open our energetic channels to run energy more clearly, really highlighting the path towards our psychic gifts, increasing intuition, increasing our ability to channel, woof, to run energy, to hold energy. I had a beautiful session this morning with a client and was able to just woof, yeah, so much energy coming through right now. Unravel knots in her solar plexus that were blocking her energy, and both of us in that field together, working together. It was so amazingly empowering and so beautiful. So, it's intense. Stepping into this work can feel really intimidating, and that witch wound, it can be a line of fire that we need to walk through, right? Walking through the flame. Yeah, that's something we do as witches again and again and again, called into the life to hear the call. Yes, to be a witch means to be willing to walk through the flames. Yeah, to burn the ego, to fall on our knees, to be humbled by the power, and to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. This is something we do again and again and again and again. Yeah. It's beautiful work. It's powerful work. If you're interested in working more with me or learning more about my services, please visit my website, Heal with Allison. I'll link it in the description. And I do Zoom work, online work, and in-person work here in California. Our next retreat in Salem over Samhain is going to be really powerful. We just have a couple spots left. And I'd love to tell you more about that. And we're doing another witches retreat in January 2025 here in Avila, San Luis Obispo, California, which is a beautiful destination out on the central coast of California. Please reach out, comment below if any of this touched you, activated you, if you feel called to learn more or have any questions you'd like me to address. Blessed be.